Hey, everybody. I'm here with Ted McLyman talking chapter by chapter about Discover Your Money Temperament. This is his latest book, and it's a common sense guide to financial security. Thank you for joining me, Ted.
It's always a pleasure.
Glad you're here. I forgot to mention who I am. My name is Doug Fine, and I live in Augusta, Georgia. And I'm the principal at Defined Performance Solutions. It's a performance consulting company, management consulting, training, leadership development. That's what I do. That's what I love to do and what I think I do best. So we're going to talk about chapter 7 today, Ted, and that's called Money Knowledge.
Right.
Yeah, and we're going chapter by chapter, and I stumbled upon a couple of things in reading chapter 7, and if you wouldn't mind, I'd just like to give these terms to you and let you riff on them a little bit about.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. That's always fun.
All right. So you first of all, I found a quote in your chapter 7 says, "Looking good and having stuff is not a long range financial plan." That just that was a hoot. It's not looking good and having stuff. So, and I'm sure there are a lot of people that can relate to that. That's not one of my tendencies to look good and have stuff, but boy, oh boy, don't people lease their Mercedes and they lease their Lexuses and such like that because they're looking good and they're having it, right?
Oh yeah, it's all a facade. In our consumption culture and celebrity culture, that has become a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Professional athletes, for example,
Mm-hmm.
there's a litany of folks who are bankrupt, who are now busting tires at Firestone.
Wow.
Or in worse circumstances that were making millions of dollars a year, but absolutely squandered it.
Yeah.
There's a difference between wealth and having money. Wealth is having more left over and peace of mind in your chosen lifestyle. Money is just money. It's a measure. I know people that are just as broke on $300,000 a year as people at $30,000 a year. The difference is they're broke with nicer stuff.
There you go.
And that's the difference between having money and being wealthy.
Wonderful. So here are the two terms that you talked about: necessary financial literacy skills. You're saying that people need to have necessary financial literacy skills. What would be some of those skills?
Well, this is one of my missions, and one of the missions of this book is to get us pointed in the right direction with regard to financial literacy. For some reason in our culture, we believe that success with money is a function of longevity. The older you are, by default, you must be better with money. And we don't seem to make it necessary to teach anybody about it. It's not required in high school. It's not required in college. I mean, as an undergraduate, I had to demonstrate I could swim 25 meters, but they could care less if I could balance my checkbook.
Yes.
I mean, really, it doesn't make any sense. Now, there is a movement afoot to try to bring financial literacy back into the classroom, but I've got a pet peeve as to what the term financial literacy means. To most of the industry, for most people, it's technical knowledge. It's activity, products, and services. To me, that is the end game. Financial literacy begins with knowing who you are, where you want to go, your values, how you think and feel about money, your temperament. And then, as I call it, your money knowledge is not only baselining what you know and don't know about money from a technical point of view,
right,
but also how do you process information? It's called learning modality. What is your default preferred way to learn? Are you a visual learner, auditory, tactile? Do you have to feel it? Do you like to take it apart? You should always demand that you take in information that's consequential with regard to money in a way that is comfortable to you. Remember, financial literacy to most financial professionals is about stuff. And it's usually presented in a very technical, quasi-legal wrapper that most people do not understand.
Yeah, it's almost like, if I'm hearing you right, Ted, a financial planner will talk to you about risk, perhaps. They will talk to you about CDs, money markets, stock index funds. So those are very they'll give you technical knowledge about those things, having a budget and such. But you're saying that with money temperament and the way you understand it, you have to go way deeper. You have to look at yourself and how are you built to handle money or not, before you start learning, learning the jargon, because there's a
Yeah,
lot of jargon.
I discovered that I was doing financial planning wrong about my third or fourth year as a professional fully licensed independent financial planner,
Uh-huh.
because we were basically trained to sell stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And success was measured by fees and commissions,
Okay.
contrary to everybody. And we had good stuff, and we all thought we were doing the right thing. But it became obvious to me, after working with hundreds and hundreds of clients of all different backgrounds and ages, that my job was to identify and manage behavior and then money.
There you go.
The other problem that is a structural problem is money's just gotten really complicated.
Mm-hmm.
When you and I were growing up, there were not a whole lot of choices. It was pretty straightforward. You had the savings account. You might have qualified for a credit card. You didn't have a whole lot of options on investments, and that was about it. What you have to understand today is the financial industry has gotten so sophisticated and things move so fast that the pros get it wrong, and they do this full time. So I question if a well-intended amateur could actually be in this space for enough time to do anything that is really sophisticated and do it well.
Well, that's what jumped out at me in the same thing you said in the sentence. Necessary financial literacy skills. You got to have those. People have to have them. But then you delegate the hard stuff to experts. Delegate the hard stuff.
Exactly.
So what would be a few of those hard stuff things that you think?
Well, in the book, I made the statement that today everybody is self-employed. You're the CEO of you. And part of that is a self-assessment and the benchmark of who you are. What is truly important about money to you, your values? What is your money temperament? How do you naturally feel and think about money? And then align your plan with how you naturally think and feel about money. Now, that's revolutionary. Nobody does it this way. We assume that every product is a cookie cutter approach and it's going to work for everybody. If not, I just need to give you another PowerPoint presentation or more data or another spreadsheet, and I'm going to beat you into submission because eventually you're going to figure it out. Well, the problem with that philosophy, you may have something that is recommended to you. You may actually own something that is technically correct, but incredibly inappropriate for how you naturally think and feel about money or your money temperament. Let me give you an example.
Sure.
A number of years back, I was in a discussion about long-term care insurance with a client. And I laid out the recommendation, and I knew his temperament. We've gone through all the analysis. I knew him better than he did about his relationship with money. So I gave him a recommendation for long-term care that when he went on claim, he got a monthly lump sum. There was no paperwork involved. He just got a check, and they could use it for anything.
Gotcha.
Now, that was a little bit more expensive than the other product, which you had to itemize all your expenditures and send in a statement to get compensated.
Every month.
Every month. Well, the client looked at me with a little indignation and said, I think you're trying to rip me off. Why are you trying to sell me the more expensive option? I said, because I know you. You don't balance your checkbook now. How are you going to manage this program when you may have some cognitive issues, some health issues? It's just not going to happen. So I would be doing you a disservice as I gave you a product that was not aligned with your temperament.
Right.
What I am recommending to you is a product that is designed for your money temperament.
Love it.
That makes sense.
That's
what I mean, how you align it. You align it with who you are. And not everything is going to fit everybody. The cookie cutter approach, one size fits all, is not appropriate. You need a one size fits you approach to money.
Ted is one of the nicest guys I know. He is generous with his time. He's generous with his knowledge. And this dude, the byline of this book is called A Common Sense Guide to Financial Security. And Ted oozes common sense too. Did you just get the gist that one thing I love about Ted is he's just very accepting. He's not judging anybody about what they think about money or what they know or what they've done, but he's trying to help us get a handle on our temperament. And that's what this book's all about. So I can't recommend this book more highly, Ted. We're going to have a few more chapters to do. We're at chapter 7 now. So I think there's a few more chapters left.
3 more chapters.
Great. And
one little quick footnote.
Please.
We usually ignore women when we talk about money.
Mhm.
This book is written for people who will never buy a book on economics, a book about finance. This is a book for the people that should read a book but wouldn't. And that's who it's written to, and that's what it's about. No money recommendations, no graphs, no numbers or anything. It's truly a common sense guide for the average, for real people, for real people.
Not to mention, it's got stories in here, people, of a fella that is trying to navigate his life when it comes to terms with money, and he's got this love-hate relationship with the shopping mall, doesn't he, Ted?
You betcha.
All right, Ted, we'll see you next time when we talk about Chapter 8. And what is that? Do you have any? I hate to put you on the
Money
spot.
strategy.
Okay, it's going to be money strategy. That's what we're going to do next time with you. And Ted, thanks again for being here and discussing your book. And I wish you continued success till we meet again.
Well, thanks so much. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.